In our last segment of the feature on property development vis-a-vis protection available to property purchasers who buy from property developers, we spoke to two experts in the field, Law Professor Salleh Buang and Legal Advisor to the Malaysian Institute of Estate Agents, Mr. David Koch. We'd like to return to Professor Salleh Buang, who has been very active in this field, for his thoughts on what further protection can be available for property purchasers who buy from developers.
In as much as we know some local authorities, some state governments want to help the purchasers. Basically, housing is a federal list under the federal ministry. And in as much as the conversion of land from agriculture to housing is a state matter, state is the authority that allows the conversion of the land. The licensing of the developers is still a federal thing. So there have been proposals in the past that in as much as when companies go down, the government bail them out. GLCs go down, government bail them out. When housing purchasers are having problems with abandoned housing, the government should step in. But as we see in the past, whenever there is a housing project, the purchasers are left on their own to fend. So they form a committee, they try to ask for the help of the ministry. We know that the ministry has helped reviving some of the abandoned projects, but it is an ad hoc thing. We know that in the past, Bank Negara has given out some funds and have set up a unit to revive, and then finally the baby, this problem, has been passed on to SPNB, and they were the ones who took up this task. But now, as we can see from the latest media, they are not doing that anymore. They are doing into something else. They are going into affordable housing. They go into housing for the masses. They are no longer. In other words, right now, if I may say so, there is no established body or unit or department looking into the affairs, except that from the media, the matter has been handed over to the Jabatan Perumahan Negara, which is another department. So we have yet to see how well they can perform. So my approach to it is that we are looking at the problem as it has developed, waiting to solve a problem as it has already happened. My approach is we should be preventive rather than curative. So in other words, I would imagine we should set up a legal mechanism, a procedure whereby it should not have been allowed to happen before it happened, and then we want to do firefighting, we want to do problem solving. So to carry on with your earlier question about this proposal to turn from sell and build to build and sell, which was watered down by the government to have it 1090. There are two proposals that have been mentioned in public to help the mud. One, if the problem has already happened and the projects have already been abandoned, there was a proposal some time back, and I was amongst those who proposed it. Just like the government set up Dana Harta, they should have Dana Perumahan or Dana Housing, whatever it is. Let's have a special fund, have a special purpose vehicle. And if they want a supportive law, by do so. In other words, just as like they have Dana Harta punya mechanism to bail out sick banks and companies and so forth, and it is finally brought to health, yeah, and turn around. I think that was a good proposal, but I think there was no political will to take it through. But it is still a worthwhile consideration, having a Dana Perumahan. I came up with another proposal, and that is from the preventive angle. Government should try and force the hand of the housing industry to be more responsible, in the sense that to follow the example in New South Wales, where they have got a law which says that before there is a developer who can be allowed to embark on a housing project and sell houses to the public, they must take an insurance coverage. So I'm not bothered by whatever name you want to call that policy. The name that I suggested was home warranty insurance, but the government can call it any other name. My intention was, it's an umbrella, it's a protection. In the event that a housing project has been abandoned by the developer for whatever reason, then the policy matures the insurance company pays out, and that money that is being paid out under that insurance cover issued for every house being sold by the developer can be used, and this using can be by the purchasers themselves, by a body set up by the Jabatan Housing. This fund can be used to complete the abandoned project. I have been informed by friends, and it's been confirmed by the Ministry of Housing. They were working along that line some months back about this insurance scheme. But from my reading of this proposal, they have a committee in order to. This was a watered-down insurance scheme which they suggested. They called the stakeholders to discuss it. They called the HBA, they called the architects, they called it. But my sorrow about this government proposal lately was that it was restricted to an insurance policy only in respect of completed but defective housing. So if you have defective houses, mungkin nak roboh ke, there's a sinking thing like that, and it's beyond their ability, they can call upon this insurance policy to remedy the defects. I want to go a few steps further. I want to go to the scenario when the houses were abandoned. The remedy that was applied by the housing ministry so far was, at the first stage, they blacklisted the developers. They blacklisted the directors. We have the official figure, about 5,000 directors have been blacklisted. 1,000 odd companies have been blacklisted. But these people can always resurface by using some other names. So to me, blacklisting doesn't work. Sending the developers to prison might work. But then, of course, the housing industry would not like, because this is a civil transaction. How could you penalize it? But perhaps we have to consider that possibility by making an example. We may consider cases like where there is a real economic slowdown, there may be a real meltdown in the world, and of course. But if the abandonment was caused by sheer mismanagement or the developer siphoning up the money to something else, or he's being truly not respectable, I was told one day that if we implement build and sell, only the strong ones will stay in the market. So I said, why not? Because this is a multi-million-dollar venture, and we are talking about people's lifelong investment. So why not just have the strong ones be in the market? The ones that are $2 company or fly-by now operators should not be able to be in the market. But nobody seems to catch on to that idea. So I would still say that preventive is better than curative. Go along with this bailout, go along with these remedies, but I really hope the government will consider implementing the home warranty insurance or whatever name, forcing the developer to take a policy before they can sell any house to a purchaser. I think it will only add a minimal amount of money for the house cost. I mean, if he pays the house for 150,000, maybe 151, maybe not even 151,000 for that premium, one payment premium for it.